Thank you. So, build the bridge. These were the 3 different words that a little 14-year-old girl told me when I was 16 years old. Build the bridge. What does this even mean? Well, it was during the summer when I was 16 that I traveled to Pampas Grande in Peru, and I saw all the poverty and all the development in the town of Pampas Grande and in the Andes of South America. And I realized that kids like this little girl that is 14 years old didn't have access to a computer, to the internet, to an encyclopedia, to pretty much anything. And the reality was, I asked her, Juana, what do you want to do when you grow up? And she said, Pedro, what I want to do is I want to be a farmer, because my dad is a farmer, my mom as well, my grandparents the same. Well, I was there not only to ask those questions to that little girl called Juana, but I was there to help build a library, to help build a greenhouse with this nonprofit in Pampas Grande when I was 16. And after we did it for 2 years and a half, now the community of Pampas Grande, the high schoolers, the middle schoolers, the elementary children, had access to an encyclopedia, to an Apple Mac, to different books and resources, so they could actually start learning and dreaming, and their opportunities were wide open. And this is why, after I came back to this beautiful Andean and cultural and remote town in the Sierra of Peru, Juana came back to me and knocked on the door. Pedro, now I am 16 years old and I have realized what I want to do. And I responded, what do you want to do? And she said, well, now that this nonprofit has built a library, we have a computer lab, we have resources, we have a greenhouse, we learn about engineering, about architecture, politics. I want to study civil engineering, not only here in my state, but in the best engineering school in Peru, which is the National University of Engineering in Lima. And this statement from Juana really impacted me, because I was like, wow, before I met her, her only dream was to follow the footsteps of her parents, of her grandparents. But now, thanks to all the help from the community, thanks from the help of this educational nonprofit, Juana has aspired for more. Most importantly, she said, I want to study civil engineering because I want to build the bridge that connects my little town of 280 people with the capital of my state, called Haas, which is already connected through a highway to Lima, which is a metropolis. And this bridge will bring human development, economic empowerment, and more opportunities for myself, my family, and my whole town of Pampas, for we all pursue happiness with technology and education. So whenever I recall this, I take this memory, this metaphor, it inspires me for more. It inspires me to keep creating opportunities for others, like Juana, through everything I do. Because there is potential in people. The fact that they don't have access to a resource, such as a computer, or a book, or a library, I think that's what everyone needs. I think that Juana is a wonderful example of how sometimes, even here in school, or in a developed country like the US, we don't have a different perspective, so we can't really aspire for more, because we're in the same system. Connecting this to my life passion, that's why I always try working really hard in studying and in working full-time for Smiley Go. Because what we're doing is we're helping nonprofits like this, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, foundations, that really aspire to build that self-sustainability on each of their stakeholders. This nonprofit that helped Juana, called Asociación Cultural PAN Perú, didn't teach Juana, didn't give Juana fish, or didn't give Juana a library, didn't give Juana a greenhouse, but it taught her how to read. It taught her how to take care of the greenhouse. And that's why I believe, and fellow professionals, I urge you to join my team in Smiley Go. Thank you so much.
Good.
That was 5 minutes? Wow, that flew.
That was 5:30, yeah.
Wow.
Stay there, I'll give you some feedback so we can record this. So how do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I definitely feel more emotional than, the first speech that was a pitch, right? A sales thing.
Yeah.
This was more of a metaphor, something that your heart moves, and I felt that it was more of a story. It was beautiful, like saying the details, the Andes, and my motherland, and where my family and I'm from, and everything. And it was more personal, more family. So I really liked it. The other one was business.
Nice. So a few things. I think there's an improvement on the authenticity of the speech. You said you were working on projecting that, and I think you look more authentic. The energy looks more controlled. I agree that the first speech you were like a little bit too much of energy. I think here you have the right level of energy, the right level of speed in your how you're speaking. You have a great use of hands, and I think that looks very natural. So it's something that you have as a natural talent, I would say. Just leverage that because you use your hands. I was saying on Friday, someone else using their hands very well, and there's different levels of using your hands, and there's a level where it's not against you, like you use them, it's not affecting you. There's a level where your hands affect your image. There's a level where it's not affecting, it's just normal, and there's a level where you use them as a tool, and I think you're in that level because you're like, it helps communicate better, and that's very good. I like the beginning of the metaphor with making a bridge. I wish that you had exploded more, like go back to the making the bridge. I kind of, just because I was thinking that it's a metaphor speech, I was trying to make that connection of making a bridge with the beginning. So, but it was just not clear for someone that might not know that this is a metaphor speech. So just think how you could have used that making a bridge idea and just bringing that metaphor more. How building a bridge connects people. Some of the bridges are broken, they're not solid. What happened with those people? Like just more around that metaphor of making a bridge. I think you mentioned it at the beginning, but then you kind of lost it through all the speech. And on the posture, I think you will notice in the video, but you put your weight on the two legs, so you're constantly moving like to one side and then the other. It's not super bad. It's not something that looks wrong, but if you just stay still and just use your hands should be all the energy. Sometimes you went like forward to the podium. That's fine. Just look at when you're putting weight on one leg and the other one, like that. Exactly. So you're doing a lot like that. Just try to reduce that energy, keep your legs still, and then just put the energy in your hands. That will help you a lot on terms of the movement and distraction to the audience. And the last comment is the structure of the speech. I think you're very strong in delivery, but in the structure, I was lost somehow. It took you 3.5 minutes on the full story, but I was lost on where the story was taking me to, right? Like the message at the end was join my organization, but there was a lot of on the story, like why is it personal and why is it important for you, but then very little at the end, like only 1 minute of, and this is what Smiley does, this is why it's important to me, and then you should join. Like if you think it's more, the objective of the speech is more to convince someone to join, think on how you could have structured it differently, maybe reducing the story, just leaving the emotional aspects of it when you were there working, like putting a name to the child, that's really powerful. I think in the story side, it's very powerful, very emotional. Just make sure you connect it well with the objective of your speech. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Cool.